Oh man. What's up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Whew, I was thirsty. But like I've been in the desert for 3 days. It's your big brother K-Rino, man. Please hit the like button as you come in. Please hit the like button as you come in. I apologize for being late. I said on my social media that I would start at 11. But boy, y'all know how things get. So I wasn't able to start on time. But we are here. And, you know, we used to the late night anyway. So as you can see by the title, we're asking the question, do you fear the powers? And I made sure to put the quotations around the word powers because that word is, you know, it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perspective. To say that the forces that are ruled in this world are not powerful, you know, we would be foolish to say that. They do have power, but their power is granted and allowed, and they have been given permission to have their power and to utilize their power. And the more important thing to know is that their power and their rule is absolutely temporary. So that's why I put the quotes around the word powers. But the key part to that is the do you fear part. Do you fear them and what they are capable of doing to you and what they are in the process of doing, what they are slowly starting to implement, different things that they're slowly starting to implement in the form of mandates for certain things that we know. But it's been a long time coming. These things have been building up, you know. They just trial run. They give them trial runs here and there just to see how the people will respond. If you look at a situation where a storm may hit, they will use a moment like that to say, okay, well, let's implement some form of curfew, and let's implement some form of martial law-ish type of scenarios to just see how people react. If there's a situation where an episode of police brutality takes place, or a black man is murdered by a white police officer, something along those lines, then when the unrest kicks in, they will implement certain things just to see how the people will respond. They will bring out troops. They'll bring out the National Guard. They'll bring out the police force and the militarized police force, and kind of see how the standoff looks, because there'll be a time where these standoffs will not just be drills, or not just be let's just see and just check. These will be actual, it's going to be live action at some point, and it has been in certain scenarios. So these are little drills that I believe that they do in order to just kind of, you know, get their data together and kind of get an understanding of what they need to do going forward. So we living in a time, man, according to scriptures, like a time like there never was a time. And the generation of young people that are coming up, they are fearless. We hear this all the time. They are fearless, but on the same token, they need guidance. They need to be guided. They need to be made to understand what powers they actually have, and how that power can be incorporated into the totality of freeing us as a people, and as opposed to being a destructive force. Y'all hit the like button, man. There's a few of y'all in here, but the likes are very disproportionate in comparison to the amount of participants in the chat. So please, if you haven't hit the like button, y'all come on in. I will get into y'all's comments a little earlier than I normally do, but we are asking the question, do you fear the powers? And who are those powers? You know, the first thing comes to people's mind is going to be government. Of course, people say, yeah, the government's implementing that. But see, the thing is, you know, there's a power that you can see, and a power that you're aware of, and then there are powers that we can't see. There are people who control things that we have no knowledge of, that we don't, not the knowledge of what they're doing, but we don't have a knowledge of who these people are. The hidden hand. We hear that term a lot, the hidden hand. We hear the term shadow government a lot. These are people who really call the shots. These are people who are really in charge. And when we understand that this thing is bigger than the person that you see who occupies a seat at the White House, or it's bigger than some governor, it's bigger than some media person that sits behind a desk and delivers news to us every day. It's a lot bigger than that. And we got to know that we have a power that's greater than theirs, and that we're backed by a power that's countless times greater than theirs. But if we fear them, then there's nothing that our higher power can do. Because when you suffer from the emotion of fear, then what happens is your power has a stranglehold on it. It's handcuffed, it's petrified, it's frozen, and in essence now is useless. It's useless because you have every ability to free yourself. You have every ability to stand up and defeat the ones who are oppressing you, but you're scared of a consequence. You're scared of what's gonna happen. You're scared that, to trickle it down on a smaller level, you're scared that you're gonna lose a job. See, and that's one of the main keys to this discussion tonight, because we're seeing the word mandate being used. And I spoke about this another time. We're seeing the word mandate. And I broke it down the last time we were talking about it. Mandate is something that is made mandatory for you to do. So whether you want to do it or not. So there are several things on the table that have been mandated by the president, and now he's saying, okay, look, this is what it's got to be. And they have an understanding that there are many people who are going to go, well, I don't care what you mandate, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. So by them knowing that, now the next step is to say, okay, yeah, we know that they're going to try to stand and say that they're not going to do it. But guess what we're going to do? We're going to make it to where if you don't do it, certain sectors, I think they're just starting off with, certain sectors of society and certain occupations. You're going to lose your job. You can't work here if you don't do it. Oh, okay. How am I going to take care of my family? Okay, come on. See, but it will eventually grow and build into other areas of life. In my opinion, when they get to the point where they tell you, well, hey, you can't travel, basic travel, and hey, you can't come into this place, you can't shop here, you can't go here, unless they're already doing it, on certain levels. So they're testing this thing out, and out of fear, the fear causes us to go against something that we have in our heart that we know that we are not for, that we are against. And we have this thing in our heart that we know we shouldn't be doing, but on the same token, guess what? We do it anyway. We do it anyway, out of fear of loss. See, fear of loss, fear that those powers have the ability to take something away from you that is an absolute necessity. Your job. They take away your job, they take away your paycheck. They take away your paycheck, they take away your ability to pay bills. They take away your ability to pay bills, then they take away your ability to have a roof over your head, to have food and feed your family and things of that nature. The thought of that triggers a fear. So how do we handle that? How do we handle that? It's something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad been teaching for decades. It's a do for self. But he also said do for self or suffer the consequences. See, these consequences are starting to unroll and become known to us every single day that passes along. Now we're starting to see the consequences or the potential consequences now, because now we're like, oh man. But had we been already in the mindset of doing for self and already be established on those levels, then a free and independent people will have no fear of what they talking about over there, what the government's talking about. We got our own. And this is how we do it over here. And nothing that you say over here has any effect over how we getting down on this end. So the answer has always been to do for self. The answer has always been to make sure that we are able to sustain self and each other when these types of moments kick in, because they're absolutely coming into play. All the way down to, well, let me see what y'all talking about real quick before I go into the next phase of that. Nate L says governments take the blame for globalists. Yeah, you know, I mean, like I say, you got the hidden hand people, man. You got the bankers. You got all these different people who really control what's going on. And government is put in the forefront. But trust me, they some wicked snakes as well. Now, we ain't going to let them off the hook now. We ain't going to act like, you know, they're not doing the bidding. But on the same token, man, there is a power behind that power. There is a puppet master. No matter how tough any of us grew up, the powers made sure that through loved ones, you need them. You know you must leave for the hills and mountains, but know they're not ready, so they have you. Okay. Is it the drills against us or for us? Those drills that I was talking about, no, they're not for us. Those drills are to see the devil studies human behavior. That's what he does. He's a wicked scientist. He studies human behavior. He studies human tendencies. He studies the thought processes and the mind processes, you know, of the people, and they cast certain things out to see how we respond. That's why you always see different things like on these commercials, these challenges, just different things that they would just cast out there to see how the people respond to. See, and they will do it at any moment. They'll do it in the middle of a crisis. Let's put some BS out there and make everybody go over here and act silly for a while in the middle of this crisis that's going on right now. And we will instantly shift our attention and shift our focus towards that. He's studying our ways. See, he uses social media to study our thinking. They read the posts that you putting up there, them crazy posts that you putting up there. You arguing with your baby mama and telling all y'all business on social media and talking crazy and showing stupid videos and all the different things that we do. They see that. They see that. They know what turns us on. We putting pictures of weed and bottles and drugs and all these different things. We showing out and flashing these things. That they're like, okay, all right. That's what they do. All right. We don't know that we are just an open experiment, unwittingly, but voluntarily providing them with the information that they need to absolutely continue to conquer us and rule us. studying, watching our behavior. Tell me I'm lying. See? Certain things that they do with the food and the water and with the clothes and the thing, they just cast stuff out. They do what's called, they throw it on the wall to see if it sticks. And after a while, they start to understand exactly what to do. And they already know the result. They know the result if a white police officer kills a black man, unarmed black man totally unarmed, and a situation where they could have subdued him or shouldn't have even took it that far in the first place, whatever the case might be. After this many incidents that we've seen over the past few years, they know exactly what the process is going to go like. If the officer isn't immediately reprimanded for what he did, which in most cases that they're not, right? So they're going to say, okay, you know what? They're mad. They're going to show up down here in a little while. It's going to be a bunch of them. They're going to protest. They're going to be angry. They're going to have signs. They're going to be mad. They're going to stand off and face off, and might do it 3 or 4 nights in a row. Then they're going to go home. It's going to slowly die. They know exactly what's going to happen until they don't. Because our pattern has given them an understanding. Meanwhile, they plan in the back offices. They laying it out. There are things that are planned, that are in place, that are coming. So that's what the other part is. They said, what's about to happen? There are things that they're going to do that we don't see coming. And we're not prepared. And we're not even in the mind that it can happen. We just feel like somehow it's going to magically fix itself, and then we're going to be right back acting a fool and being normal. But when you have a world that is prophesied and predicted to be destroyed, now you got some people on here that's atheists. You got some people on here that are evolutionists, and they don't believe in a higher power. You got some people on here that will say, well, I'm not, man, I ain't religious, man. I ain't into religion. I ain't into the scriptural text. I ain't into none of that. I'm spiritual. I live for me, and that, and then that's fine. You know, you do what you do. But the majority of the people would subscribe to some type, or I would say do subscribe to some type of theory that a higher power exists, and that based on the words that are in the scriptures in a time when you line it all up, that we are absolutely living in that time of the fulfillment of those scriptures and the destruction of this current world, right? And even if you don't believe in that we in a time of the destruction of this current world, you would be foolish to deny that those scriptures don't line up with everything that we're seeing right now. I don't care if you just total atheist. You still got to be real. You got to look and say, it is matching up. The things that are said that were going to happen and that were developing, it is matching up. We are living in those times where there will be wars and rumors of wars, pestilence, COVID, famine, earthquakes in diverse places. All these things that we're seeing. I'm just saying, you got to be real. And after that, comes the utter destruction of the devil's world. And again, just like I said the other day, I ain't talking about no dude in a red suit. He's wearing a three-piece suit. So we got to wake ourselves up to what's going on around us and our surroundings. We living in that time. So what do? What did the children of Israel do? They start making their exodus. Start getting out. See? What y'all talking about over here, man? What y'all talking about over here, man? Somebody said this new generation is gonna start shooting back. They already are. Unfortunately, a lot of the shooting is being shot at each other. And that's another thing that they understood how to put in play, because while there are people who will say, well, oh man, ain't nobody forcing them, they just being crazy out here on their own. Okay. Personal accountability has to be acknowledged. You're not going to get no argument out of me on that. You know better. However, the root of the violence, the root of the crime, the root of the drug use and the drug selling is about a condition that was created specifically for certain people to suffer under. That's just a fact. It's just a fact. So when the conditions are poor, poverty, drug infested, lack of opportunity, lack of hope, when the conditions are set up in such a way, how are the people going to respond? They're going to respond, and the only way they know how to respond is in survival mode and in desperation. And every man, every woman for himself. And however I got to get it, that's how I'm going to get it. They understand that. They create the condition. And they say, let's see what'll happen. Let's create this drug. I don't know who named it crack, but let's create this drug called crack. It'll be a variation of cocaine. We'll just add a little chemistry to it. Then we'll distribute it in the inner cities around America, and let's see how they respond to it. Let's see how those who use it respond to it. Let's see how those who sell it respond to it. And not only will we see how they respond to it, we will also make it to where the very thing we put out here in these streets, if we catch them with it, selling it, we'll put them in prison for the rest of their life. So the conditions, man, we didn't draw up the rules. We didn't draw it up. We just fell victim to them in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, we willingly participated. See? So this is what we're talking about. Do you feel the powers? Do you feel the powers in what's about to happen? Another thing that we slowly starting to see and people are talking about a lot is the censorship thing that's starting to take place. Or should I say just the removal of your so-called right of freedom of speech to say what's on your mind and on your heart to say, to disagree with policy, to disagree with mandates, to disagree with laws for whatever reason, your ability and right to disagree has not been removed, but your ability to speak on it publicly on a platform via media, TV, radio, the ability to expose or express a altering or differing view on something that those powers are pushing. If you have a differing view of anything concerning their agenda, it doesn't see the light of day anymore. That view don't get to see the light of day anymore. It used to. But what happened was, if the person is got enough weight behind them, if the person who proposes the alternate view, if they got enough weight behind them, then the people will get behind them. And if enough of that's going on in different pockets of the world, then what that does, that creates a balance between the devil's view and in the sector of the people, in their view. And the devil don't want that balance. He don't want that fight. He don't want to compete with that. And since he has the power, and since he owns media, since he controls media, controls government, and controls all of the big entities that have the ability to present something on a big scale, he also has the ability to prevent. He got the ability to present it, and he got the ability to prevent it. So he'll present what he wants and let that narrative rock out, but he'll prevent anyone, even when they have what's called the receipts, even when you are speaking factual truth, backed up by knowledge, science, whatever. Nope, you're not going to put this out because this is countering our ultimate agenda. We want everybody to be juiced up, see? So we can't allow anybody to say anything. Look at what Nicki Minaj is going through right now. And some of y'all are so messed up in the head because y'all will take a personal view that you have of someone based on their entertainment persona, and y'all will use that as a way to totally deny or denounce that person, even when they saying something that's truthful. So Nicki Minaj came out and spoke her truth, but her truth was in opposition to them powers. So they came after her. Shut down her Twitter account. Got a call from the White House. Hey, we'd like to talk to you. What you want to talk to me for? I said what I said. I stand on what I said. What you want to talk to me for? See? So the hypocrisy of America lies in the fact that there was a time, and there may still be people who say that, but they don't represent that. People would say, and y'all all have heard this before, well, you know, as an American, I don't have to agree with what you're saying, but I support your right to say it. See, let's say that again. They'll tell you, I don't have to agree with what you're talking about, but as an American, I support your right to say it. That's not even the case no more. The government is already, they slowly snatching that down left and right. And with the way that the media pushes the narrative, the way they push it, it drills it into the head of other American citizens who look around and say, yeah, because I agree with what the powers are saying. I'm going to stand on that as well. Now, you don't got the right to say it. Your platform should be taken down. See? So there's a bunch of hypocritical people out there who really just, you don't stand on what y'all claim this country is built on. This country was built on rebellion, right? These are the people that y'all call true patriots. So it's a patriot today is not what a patriot was labeled as 300 years ago. The patriots then were like, hey man, we opposed things that our government was saying, and we stood out and we rode for that cause, and we established our right to do so others could have that right moving forward in future generations. That's not how it is right now. That's not how it is at all. It's my way or the highway. A patriot is a yes man now. And the real patriots, you recognize them by them being the ones who stand against the injustices that this government puts before us. And they don't just lay down and take it. They don't lay down and take it. See? So slowly but surely, those rights are they sneaking them away. They're easing you into the big thing. They're slowly, you have to do this in order to do that. It's like a threat. It's like a blackmail almost. If you don't do this, we're gonna do this. If you don't do this, then you can't do that. That sounds like blackmails or extortion or something. What y'all talking about? Hit the like button if you haven't already, man. We're talking about, do you feel the powers? Because many people do. See, some of y'all have feared the powers all your life. Even before all this started to take place, there was some of y'all who would be working on a job and you let the supervisor or the manager talk to you any kind of way because you were afraid of losing that job. Now, it's a difference between somebody being stern with you or firm with you or reprimanding you if you make a mistake. That's fine. Don't be that sensitive. But if it crosses over into the line of disrespect for you as a person, where it's like, oh man, something that would never be gotten away with in the streets, but a person understands that because I got the power to give you a paycheck, I can talk to you any kind of way. Some of y'all been doing that. So it's gonna be easy for a lot of y'all to bend over when the time comes. When the time comes, it's gonna be real easy for some of y'all to bend over because you've been doing it all your life. and you go where they tell you to go. You do what they tell you to do because they're the ones who told you to do it. So, you know, man, I know the government ain't all that, but you know, I know, yeah, I know, but see, I have to. No, you don't. What you mean you have to? Yeah, I got to. No, you don't. Who made you? Who created you? Did the president create you? Did the governor of your state create you? Did the supervisor at your job create you? Did that police officer create you? So if they didn't create you, who should we really be bowing down to? And who should we really be having legitimate fear of? And how does the Most High, how does the God himself feel, in your opinion, in your estimation? How does God feel about us being scared of them? Just curious. How does God feel about us showing fear to an inferior? Because some of y'all more scared of these folks than y'all are God. And some of y'all go to church every Sunday. Some of y'all wear t-shirts, fear no man but God. Only God can judge me. Yeah. But some of y'all are way scareder. Way scareder? That's not a word. Some of y'all are more fearful of them than y'all are of the Creator. And those who are religious, y'all believe in the scripture of the last days, and y'all believe, like I said earlier, that the God is going to destroy Babylon. So if we believe that we living in the modern day Babylon and God say he going to destroy Babylon, why are you scared of them? Now you might be scared of what God going to do. Like, oh my gosh, man. Got to figure out a way to not be in the way of that. But he don't want you afraid of them. See? And William Allen said, church is a synagogue of Satan. A church is a church, a synagogue is a synagogue, but I guess I understand where you're going with it. But let me say this to you, William Allen. See, even at a corrupt church, a corrupt synagogue, a corrupt mosque, whatever house of worship that exists, even if it is corrupt at the top by those who are running it, there are honest, good-hearted people who attend those edifices with good intentions. They may not know the corruption that exists on the top levels. And there may be some that do and just say, well, man, I'm going to get out of it what I'm trying to get out of it. So we could say, because people will say, man, the church is dirty. I can't do the church. The church is dirty. No, there are people in the church who are corrupt. There are people in the mosque, people in the synagogue who are corrupt. People in the White House who are corrupt. People in the police department who are corrupt. People in the judicial system that are corrupt. But there are also people who are in those same pockets who are not. They're just trying to get it. They trying to figure this thing out. They may find out, oh man, this dude was a snake. But too many of us will condemn the whole thing because we see the corruption at the top. So by condemning, oh man, just wipe it all out. But you wiping out innocent people who don't know. That ain't how God operates. God is not gonna hold the innocent and the ignorant who don't know. He's not gonna hold them accountable. They learning, they trying to figure this thing out. They just fell into the wrong hands. So we gotta sift through. That's why you gotta keep on dropping game and on everybody. So that those who really have it in their heart and their hearts are in the right place to try to get and get out of this thing and fix this thing and fix themselves, they can possibly hear the words and be like, oh man, you know what? Yeah. But we don't just say that everybody, the whole thing is let's blow the whole building up. No, wait a minute. Don't blow the whole building up because you're going to blow up innocent people who really are trying to get it. See? See what y'all talking about, man. Drop your locations, man, while we on this. Do you feel the power? Drop your location. Let me know what your locations are, man. Because we trying to eliminate that fear of the powers, and we going to remove those quotes, those quotation marks off to make you understand that the real power is the Most High. And in you got the power. I see y'all kicking in from all over the country, all over the world, man. Keep on dropping your locations. The power is in us. That's why they always say power to the people. Answer me one question. Somebody who want to answer the question. I see a dollar bill. Hey, dollar bill, I'm interviewing all my producers, man. I got to get you lined up to interview on my YouTube channel. All the producers who ever produced for me. I did Supreme Tracks tonight. Y'all make sure y'all go watch the interview I did with Supreme Tracks. Those of y'all who are fans of my music, y'all should know who I'm talking about. So y'all all over the country, all over the world, Trinidad and Tobago. Kevin O'Neill, live with good morals is hard. I've sinned mad times. Truly sorry, Philip. If you haven't sinned, then you sinning by telling that lie about not having sinned. Hey man, well, bro, don't feel bad. See? The real power is in the people, man. How does a small percentage of the people rule a way larger percentage? How does a small percentage, a handful of people, how are they able and how have they been able for centuries to rule masses of people who totally outnumber them in actual numbers and actual bodies, yet they are in total control of those masses? How do they do that? Anybody got any suggestions over there? Somebody said media and fear. Somebody said money. How do they do it? Somebody else said money. Everybody's saying money. Everybody's saying money. But it's something that nobody have said. Okay, there's one. Grove Street Hustle said, conditioning. See, the book says that the people perish from a lack of knowledge. See, if people don't have the knowledge of themselves, of God, of the devil, the time, what must be done, shout out to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If we don't have the understanding of those things, then we're easy to rule. So if a people comes along and strips everything that made you who you are and remove that from your memory through generations, then they can rule you because they can dictate to you who you are according to them. This quote by Minister Farrakhan always comes to my mind, but I can never say it right. But I'm going to try to say it. Because I asked y'all, how can a few rule many? And Minister Farrakhan, he said, and I hope I say this right. He said, he who subscribes for you the circumference of your knowledge basically dictates your activity. And I didn't say it nowhere close to right, but that's what it means. The person who gives you what you believe to be your knowledge, they control your activity. So that few, they got a hold of the reins. And by them getting a hold of the reins, they got a hold of the brains. See? You got the reins, you tell the horses what to do. We the horses. So we have to get knowledge. We got to understand who we are. We got to understand the time we in and can't play. And once that happens, then them folks just bounce off you like raindrops. They have no more bearing over you because you grow to a point where you understand them better than they understand themselves. See, right now they understand us better than we understand ourselves. They know who we are. They know we the chosen, but they know who they are, and they know their fate. They know their future. So when the devil knows his future, he like, okay, all right, I know I'm going out, but guess what? I ain't going by myself. B Ant says, oh, we got one of the twins in here? I didn't even see her. He's responding to damn twin SPC in the building. We will never be as one. We will never stand together. We must be individual and ready when are able to stand with those like us. Opportunity will present itself with those who. So you are of the mindset that we will never stand together. We will never be as one. I got to disagree with you on that one, B.A. We've seen too many examples where we've done it. See? Because guess what? Let me say this to you real quick. The same way that I spoke about how the so-called powers will test and run trials with the people, and they study the minds of the people to see their behavior and see what direction they're going. Guess what? The council of the gods do the same thing. The council of the gods do the same thing. They study the minds of the people, and based on that thinking, they write history in advance. So teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So they can write history out tens of thousands of years in advance and watch the people walk right into the history because they already have studied the minds and they know the directions we're going to go. So the same type of so what the devil uses for evil, God uses for good. So we've seen examples where we've unified before. We've come together before. I was at the Million Man March. If you heard of the Million Man March, old enough to remember the Million Man March, just put a hand up, peace sign, power fist, 100. Just show me some example. Just show me that you have heard of an event called the Million Man March. I just want to know if you just heard of it. Because it happened in 1995. So some of y'all, if you 23 years old, you weren't born. If you 19 and you on this chat, you weren't born. Like my homie Jovan, he ain't but 18. He wasn't born when they had the Million Man March. So I see a few hands and stuff coming up. People that have heard of the march, or people who were very young when they had the march. Like, is that TYL? 29 years old. That means you were 4 years old when the Million Man March happened. Well, let me hold on. Let me do my math. This is 2021. 26 years ago. Yeah, you were like 3 years old. So the point that I'm making is this. When the Million Man March took place in 1995, there were about 1.8 million people at the Million Man March. Close to 2 million people was at the Million Man March. I was blessed to be one of them. Young little 25-year-old cat, went to Washington, D.C. But the news media, when I got off the airplane and came back to Houston, I saw a newspaper that I still have today. I just don't know where it's somewhere put up with my stuff. Newspaper said 400,000 people showed up at the Million Man March. Now I was there. I know what is the word for the people who determine crowd sizes. There's a specific word for those people who are specialists at looking at and determining crowd sizes, because they don't manually go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have a way of determining that. But I'm not one of those people. But I had sense enough to know that when I looked behind me, wherever I was standing, when I looked behind me and I saw just endless black men, just like an ocean. You couldn't see the end of it. I had sense enough to know that it was more than 400,000 people out there. But the media twisted and turned it because they did not want to make it appear that our unity had even happened, because they didn't even want black people to know that kind of unity was possible. So we can stand together. We can stand it. We've done it. We can go back to the March on Washington. We're not going to knock and disrespect the March on Washington back in the 60s with Martin Luther King. We're not going to disrespect that. Because there might have been somebody do some Googling or something. I think it was about 200 and something thousand people at the March on Washington for Martin Luther King. So there have been too many examples where people will come together. And I know what you think. Oh, man, we can come together in March. We can come together. Bro, let me explain something to you. We can't hardly get together at our own family reunion without a fight breaking out between your drunk uncle and his wife. That's just how it goes. So for for 2 million black dudes to be in that one spot and not one incident. See, you can't dismiss God's presence in that. You can't. You can't just say, oh, well, that was luck. Well, y'all got lucky that day. Boys wasn't drinking that night or something, man. That's the only way I could explain how that many black dudes could be in one place and nobody fight, nobody get into it. Nah, man. When God touched something, it's touched. Hit the like button, man. So we can come together. You think we can come together? I ain't going by something I read. See, a lot of things I wasn't born when it happened, so I got to go by what I read. I got to go by stuff I seen. I got to look at a documentary. But when I was there, you can't tell me nothing when I was there. There's no argument that you could have with me when I was there. I saw it. So we move forward though, because it's not enough to just meet up and hang out and stand. You know, it's cool. We're gonna have solidarity and all that. We're gonna show that force. But what are we gonna do moving forward? What are we gonna do to eliminate the fear of those powers in our people? See? Because we'll fight each other all day long, but when them laws show up, whoa. Well, no, sir, Mr. Officer, see, no, we'll do that in a minute. We become the most articulate, humble, calm and rational. We become the most respectful, bowing down as people in the world when the police show up. But before they got there, we was cussing out everybody. Find pistols in there. Acting a straight up donkey out there on the block. Because we've been conditioned to bow down to to people who we have been programmed to believe are our superiors. And it's so deep that it's become genetic. We are freaking predisposed to be scared. See? How do you break that? I'm asking y'all, how do you break that? Because do you feel the powers? Then the second part is what's about to happen. What's about to happen is going to be directly determined by your levels of courage and fear. What's going to come is going to come anyway. Who's going to survive it? That's based on how they hanging. Based on how they hanging. If they not hanging right, you might not make it through the night. This cipher is in the building, my brother. See? We are talking about the removal of the fear. And I know what some of y'all think. Some of y'all are saying, well, man, they control everything, man. I don't know how we can. Man, look, man. Did the children of Israel know what it was going to be like on the other side? They just had to have faith. They had to believe that Moses was going to get them to the promised land. The journey out is not always easy, man. We just expect everything to be easy. I ain't mad at you for wanting to be easy. I want it to be easy too. I want to work smarter, not harder too. But sometimes the journey out is hard. Y'all do know how babies are born, huh? Is it an easy process? I don't care if you just, I never saw a baby being born in real life. Raise your hand if you ever saw a baby being born in actual. Some of y'all married, some of y'all got wives and girlfriends. Y'all might have went into the delivery room. If you've ever seen a baby being born in real life, just hand up, peace signs, yes, say yes, whatever the case might be. I've seen it on TV before. That's the best I can do. But whenever I saw it, the mother delivering that baby did not look like she was enjoying it. She was not having a trip it was not a trip to Disneyland when she was delivering that baby. She was in pain, she was hollering, and in some cases for hours. Well, she was in labor for 15 hours. 15 hours? See, then I say this all the time, the baby can't talk. But boy, if the baby could come out and speak in English. Because you got to understand, the baby is in this dark place in a sack of water. But the baby is secure, though. The baby feels like, okay, well, this is where I am. But at some point, it's getting kind of tight up in here. So in the 9th month, the baby takes a turn and his head starts to forge his way towards the exit. Time to start moving towards the exit. And the mama's pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's painful. But when the baby comes out, the mama's smiling, she's crying, she's happy. Everybody around her is happy. The baby's still like, I don't know what's going on, but trust me, the baby good. That's our journey. It's not going to be easy, but there'll be a new birth. See, we try to give birth to a new world. God creating a new world. He giving birth to a new world, and it's not going to be, we're going to be in labor. So just imagine a new world coming in, or a new baby coming in. That's painful enough, right? But it's different with us because not only are we trying to push this new world in, you got an enemy that's fighting, kicking and screaming, fighting you the whole way. Now, what if your wife was having a baby, but while she's trying to have a baby, the doctor's trying to deliver the baby, it's somebody trying to fight her and push the baby back in the whole time you're trying to deliver it? That will make it that much more difficult. That's what we're dealing with right now. Get like the young people. I'm talking to the older generations. Get like the young generations, the youth. And what do I mean when I say get like the youth? Because y'all will say, oh man, they crazy. Nah, I mean get fearless like them. Get fearless like them because they have the courage. They just need the guidance. That they just need to be taught how to properly use that fearlessness, that lion spirit, so they won't use it on each other and waste their life. See? Somebody said, go to sleep. This convo is futile. If you believe that, then maybe you need to go to sleep. We've been asleep long enough. This is a conversation that needs to be had, but guess what? It's being had, but it's being suppressed. They don't want us talking about these types of things. And sooner or later, they're gonna make it to where all these social media sites, man, you're gonna be walking on eggshells. You're just gonna be on there. If it's gonna be worth even being on there anymore, because you're gonna be walking on eggshells. You can't say anything. You can't say anything against their agenda. Can't say anything against their agenda. And if they shut us up, let's get to 100 likes, man. If y'all haven't hit the like button yet, do so now and put your big brother over 100 likes. Hit that like button right now. Let me go back, man, because I missed the what's up, Tola? I see you. Appreciate the donation. Thank you. I know you don't really need my money, but blessings, man. I know. I appreciate the love. I don't care if it's 3 cents. I appreciate the love. Thank you, man. I need your presence, though. You're right. I need your presence. See? Don't be scared, man. Be like the youth. If you feel as though we are being stripped of the ability to speak freely, they're taking our freedoms away. That's what people say when they don't want to like wear a mask and all that. And that's fine. You don't have to do all that. But I'm speaking about if you will give somebody the power to take away your freedom. See, when you complain like that, they're taking our freedoms. That means you already gave it to them. Do that make sense what I'm saying? If you're crying about them taking or trying to take away your freedoms, then that means you've already given it to them. Because how can they take it? How can somebody take something from you that they don't have? They didn't even have the right to give. Do you feel that life is a test to choose for ourselves? To choose what for ourselves? Fear is a great motivator, Kevin O'Neill. Ushers of faith. Nobody can make you wear a mask. Get shot or lose your job. Yeah. What are you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You are not in this position. Lucky you. No, let me explain it, Bob. I am in that position because this is what I have been taught, and I ride with this. Whatever my brother and my sister are dealing with, I'm dealing with it too. If something, just because something does not directly affect me, don't mean it might not affect me down the line. But if my people are going through it, I'm going through it. See? Many people have participated in marches and protests for justice for people that they didn't even know that were unjustly killed by police officers. Because it was them. It was their brother, their sister, our brother and our sister in the struggle, and our brother and sister by nature. So yeah, it don't matter. Your fight is my fight, my fight is your fight if we take that approach. People will say, I've heard the ignorant say that, man, you gotta look out for you. It's about you and your family. Why are you always talking about the whole? It's about you and your family. Well, if the people before you thought like that, you wouldn't be in a position that you ain't even say some nonsense like that. If the people who stood and fought in the civil rights movement, if they just felt like, well, you know what, we just gonna ride this thing out, and the next generation they'll have to go through what we go through. Or when they saw Rosa Parks get treated like she was treated on that bus, they could have said, that's on her. I got a car. I don't even catch the bus, so she got to figure that out. That's how some of these cats think. But a lot of them are going to have a rude awakening. I'm telling you, they're going to find out, and they're going to wish that they had the backing of their people. A moment's going to come. Trust me. So never fall into this thing of individualism where, hey man, it's about me. Hey man, every man for himself. No individual can rise higher than the condition of their people. So you get yours, get rich, get money, move to the suburbs, and they find you lynched one day because you done moved around all these folks that didn't want you over there. And one night they decided they was gonna slip in and get you out of there, and with nobody that looked like you around there to help you out. And oh, you had turned your back on everybody, so it wasn't even nobody you could call. Oh, you call the police though, but nah. The police are cool with them. Man, y'all better get y'all minds right. Never fall for somebody telling you, just look out for yourself. Don't never let nobody pass that over on you. We can do nothing just in and of ourselves. We've always needed each other. Harriet Tubman was getting slaves when she was helping slaves escape and get free. She had a network. There was a network of people who helped her along the way. And it doesn't matter how big you get. See, I would talk about Nicki Minaj earlier. It don't matter how big you get, bro. No matter how many followers you got. They took her from 100 and something million followers instantly to no followers because they can shut your account down. So you can say, well, man, she got power. She had 100. Yeah, she does have power. But her power is still being allowed and permitted by the owners of that platform. So she has influence, but they have the ability to cut off her connection to those 100 and something million people just by shutting her down. Y'all ever seen those cars that when you don't pay your car note, the new cars, they can just cut the car off from wherever you are. It ain't like the old days. You could hide the car at your cousin's house so the repo man won't know where you at. If you owe on that car, these new cars, some of these new cars, oh, you ain't gonna pay? Some dude way in an office somewhere, across town or in another city, can shut your car off. That's the same thing. So yeah, we get on these platforms and like all of y'all are on here now, we chopping it up. They shut me down before. Shut him down. Shut me down. I can't do this no more. So I have lost all connection to y'all. That's why we need our own. we gotta understand this, man. We don't own Nothing. I see the OG Tina P is in the building. Tina P comes sliding in here. The cipher say that's the evil machine. Yeah. Freedom of speech. Just watch what you say. Absolutely. See? This is what we got to be aware of. What do you really own? What do we really what really belongs to us? If you really just break your life down and be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what do I really own? You might be shocked and disappointed by the answer. You might go, damn, what do I really own? I own this. I know this pencil is mine. I own this pencil. Can't nobody, this is my pencil. But what's the value in this pencil? See? Rappers are waking up. I know y'all like to dwell on the worst part and try to point to all of the negative things that rappers might do, but a rapper doing something crazy, a rapper shooting somebody, a rapper getting arrested, a rapper getting caught with a bunch of dope, that gets way more juice than a rapper that goes out and buys a bunch of acres of land. Why don't we celebrate that? Because they doing it. Why don't we celebrate rappers going into businesses outside of the music industry to establish generational wealth for them and their families? They're doing it. What do we really own? Many of us don't own our home. Many of us paying notes on a car that they can take it any second. Many of us don't have any land. You got rappers and artists out here that don't even own their music. Ask yourself tonight when we get off this live, what do I really own? Ask yourself that hard question. And you might go, oh man, I don't own nothing, bro. I've been on this earth all this time. Come on, man. And we still making the mistake over and over again of believing in these politicians, these liars who come along every 4 years and make these promises, these false, empty promises to us. And every 4 years, we fall for the same thing, whether it's Republican or Democrat or anything in between. But I don't really count the in between because they're not going to ever win. Not that it matters, but I'm just saying. When the last time somebody other than a Democrat or a Republican won the presidential election? Or however they laid it, or was selected to be the president, however you want to look at it. Tina P, appreciate the love, Tina, as always. But yet every year we fall for it. Got us again. Oh, what? Oh, Joe Biden, we got to get Biden in there. Who is he? What has he done? Do y'all know his history? Do y'all know Joe Biden's history? What has he done? Ever. I ain't talking about since he's been the president. Ever. That's been beneficial to you and me. See? Death of a politician. Death of a politician. Oh, that's a song, y'all. See? What has any Republican president ever done? Come on, man. Oh, Abraham Lincoln was Republican. He freed the slaves. See, I got you on that one. Do you know the history of that? Have you read the writings of Abraham Lincoln as it relates to black people? Just pull out Abraham Lincoln speaks about black people, speaks about his feelings about the slaves. You're going to be like, oh, not Honest Abe. Come on, man. Stop running on the hamster wheel, man. Get off the hamster wheel. The power is in you. You have the power to determine your own fate. Ooh, boy. Cosmic Brother Cam, boy. Whew. Okay. And the only black people that are really allowed to get down and run their mouth freely are those who speak in favor of the agenda. Oh yeah, you can talk. We're going to give you a show. Matter of fact, we're going to give you a national platform because you speaking our language, buddy. We like you. Yeah, Rasta. Big up to Chris Jordan, who is the son of Brad Jordan, aka Scarface the Legend. Chris Jordan gave his father a kidney. I did a video on it. Y'all go watch it. Gave his daddy a kidney. You don't get no better than that. So to the people that say, man, you got to be for self. It's about you. Tell that to Face and his son. What if Chris would have said, hey man, you lived your life, I gotta live mine. See, we have to do for each other. Don't listen to these clowns, man. Blessings to y'all, man. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Y'all start watching my videos, man. I'll be posting all this game for y'all. Y'all gonna be watching. Go get my new album. Go to southparkcoalition.net right now and go get this album, A Blessing and a Burden. Or you can go on iTunes and all other sites that's controlled by those powers and bless my game. All right, man. One love to y'all. Peace.